We're on the edge of a global catastrophic disaster. Human conflict, nuclear bombs, natural disasters, chemical and biological warfare. Without warning, the world as we know it can come to an end.
31 days ago, a group of volunteers entered a 10-week experiment to see if they can survive and rebuild after a simulated viral outbreak leaves Los Angeles and the rest of the planet devastated. Their new home, a cordoned-off 80,000 square foot warehouse near downtown Los Angeles. They started with no electricity, no water,
nothing,
and no communication with the outside world.
They're not broadcasting, they're just transmitting.
As part of the experiment, an outside gang of looters and thugs challenged the colonists' resources and security. So far, the rebuilding process has been a success. And all outside threats have been repelled.
Get him out!
George!
But when Dr. George disappeared on a search party, their sense of stability was shattered.
We left a man behind.
Now,
Prepare to meet God! Judgment's coming!
a test of faith
Just a little bit of water, man, please. Just a little bit of water.
We made a decision and...
Exactly, it's done.
and a fight against hunger.
John V. has a rat. Oh, well.
We're gonna end up eating the rats.
SOS, SOS, SOS. Colony in search of government institution. Subject to attacks and kidnappings. Need food, water, protection, meds, and info. Exmitting daily on 900 kilohertz AM, listening at 800 kilohertz AM immediately after.
I miss George so much. I just want him to come home.
Fortunately, we haven't heard Morse code. We haven't heard voice transmission back. It'd be nice to hear from someone, though.
I think our morale is pretty low. It's probably the lowest point it's been.
I'm not sleeping. I'm not sleeping 3 or 4 hours a night.
After over a month of participating in a large-scale experiment, especially one where the volunteers have been physically, mentally, and emotionally broken down, the constructed world of the experiment will become real to those in it.
We've been attacked, robbed, sleep deprived, starved. It's left some people kind of jaded, really irritated, and just fed up.
I'm sick of this warehouse. I'm sick of the lack of food. I'm sick of the scumbags harassing us. I'm sick of everyone. I can just barely keep my mouth shut and tolerate other people.
The dramatic events of the past month and a half have taken a toll on more than just morale. The volunteers' nerves are frayed, and they're dropping the ball on managing their resources.
When's the last of you, too? Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Survivors of a major catastrophe will certainly be challenged by emotional situations. But they can't let themselves get distracted. Survival must always be their #1 priority.
Have we crossed some threshold where all of a sudden our reserves are gone or something like that? Because I never felt not eating until this week.
And we're working hard, no one really stops, so... And this is affecting us in so many different ways, emotionally, physically.
Food isn't the colonists' only depleted resource, as John V. makes an alarming discovery.
I checked our propane reserve, and we do no longer have any propane. So we're gonna have to find some alternate way to cook.
The colonists use solar power and a generator to run lights and tools. But they depend on a propane stove for cooking and to make river water safe to drink. Purifying water is a 2-step process, filtration and boiling. They can still filter using their charcoal system. But without propane, they need another way to sterilize the water.
I don't know if you guys foresaw like day when we would be out of propane, but this is it.
Of course, there is an obvious solution.
Fire. We've got fire, kids.
Yeah, we'll use that.
We might have to screw around more with cooking actually on the barrel right here.
That's perfect.
But computer engineer John C. isn't a fan of that plan.
We can cook on that, but we've got to come up with a more direct way to boil.
Although fire is fine for cooking, it's not an efficient way to boil the 20 gallons of water they use every day.
Because right now we have to boil probably 5 to 6 of those buckets a day, and that would take somebody all day.
Not only would it be a colonist's full-time job, but it would take an estimated 110 pounds of their dwindling supply of wood every day to keep the fire going hot and long enough to boil 20 gallons. With this equation, they would run out of wood in just 2 weeks.
And that's just not going to work.
No matter what ends up getting fixed, something else goes wrong. That gets fixed, and then something else is wrong with it. And it just is chaos.
Yeah, I always did. So
John C. is determined to find a way to purify water without propane or wood. While he puts his mind to fixing the purification problem, Mike puts his muscle into making a more efficient cooktop.
Why can't we just cook right on that then?
It's too rough. I got a spatula stuff.
Oh, you guys
up.
want to actually cook on it?
Yes, we're going to cook on it.
To be very honest, I haven't eaten in such a long time. My brain isn't working, which is kind of interesting. I keep losing stuff. I'm not thinking straight. I think this is really the second day where I've realized I'm not working as effectively because of our diet.
John C. finally comes up with a solution.
I wandered into a conversation as I was kind of in one of those, thoughtful moments, like what could I do? I walked over there. Amy and Leilani were talking about water purification. I'm thinking about one thing, and she starts asking me about how do we purify water? Could we use the solar, etc.? And all of a sudden, this giant kind of, light bulb moment happens. I can make ozone, and ozone is the chemical that many municipalities use to purify their water.
Ozone is a highly reactive, unstable form of oxygen that can be used to kill bacteria and other microbes in water. Ozone molecules can form in several different ways, one of which is when high-voltage electrical discharge passes through the air, like lightning.
Ozone.
I don't think for very long, though.
And it's the smell you get after a lightning storm. You walk outside and that great fresh smell. Well, a little of it makes it smell fresh. A lot of it actually is very, very active.
To purify water, John C. will build what he calls an ozonator. The ozonator will be comprised of 2 basic parts: the Tesla coil, which creates ozone by emitting high-voltage electricity in the form of electrical arcs, and a container that will capture the ozone and pump it into a bucket of water, killing off any harmful microbes.
It should be better than chlorinating it, and we should be able to get away from having to boil it at all.
John C. ends up amazing me every single day with his little innovations that he comes up with.
But purification isn't their only water problem.
We all agreed that we wouldn't get below 60. We are now down at 20. We're gonna really need to go for a water run.
Okay, all right, so John, Joey, and Allison, you guys can go ahead and stay. All right.
Everybody ready?
Alrighty.
All right, bye.
Be careful. Set anything down. Be careful. Please be careful.
Every time we go to the river, we normally have some sort of altercation, and it seems like we're always anticipating marauders. We're never quite relaxed. We're never quite comfortable.
Okay, so side door's locked, back door's locked, right?